Hi everyone, this is Miss Barb from the Sterling Heights Library, coming to you from home, although the library is open a little bit right now. The library is offering curbside pickup for books. You unfortunately are not able to come into the library to browse. We are also doing appointments for computer time. People are able to come into the library by appointment only for an hour at a time to use the computers, but there is still no browsing of the collection. Unfortunately, because of our construction right now and because of the COVID situation, the building is still closed for browsing, but you're welcome to put items on hold and we will pull those items for you. If you're not sure quite what you want, call us up and ask for suggestions. We can bring those things, we'll put them on our hold shelf in the library. You'll come into the parking lot, call us up, let us know that you're there. We will pull those items for you, check them out, and we'll bring them right out to your car. So pretty handy for you, and we got our steps in for the day. So the story time that I'd like to do for you today, I chose a 4th of July story because the 4th is coming up pretty soon. Before I do the story, I did want to remind everyone that if you're looking for something to do over the holiday, if you have maybe someone who's a little bit older child, or if you're just looking for something to do to decorate the house, we do have a Maker Monday program, which the past couple of Maker Mondays for Memorial Day, we made a wreath out of clothespins. So that was kind of a fun one to do. That's something that, of course, lends itself very well to the 4th of July holiday also. And for Father's Day, we did a string art, but instead of using nails and string, we actually used map pins and yarn. This was something that was done for Father's Day. And you can make any pattern that you want to. This happened to be a Father's Day one, but of course you can do something like this, and you could find a flag to do, and you could do the stars and stripes and have red and white string, red, white, and blue string, and on a blue jean background. I think it would look really, really cool. So those are just some suggestions, things that you can do to decorate your house for the holiday. I'm gonna set those aside. The crafts that I chose for today, because we always do an edible and a paper craft. I'll show you those really quick before we get into the story. The first craft is to make fireworks on black paper using, on one side, this was done using a straw, and on this side using a fork, and of course red, white, and blue paint as a way to make fireworks. I'll show you how to make those in just a few moments. And as an edible craft, the edible part, it's not so much a craft, but it's more of just like a fun treat to have for the holiday. For an edible craft, I will tell you about how to make red, white, and blue dyed pasta that you could use to make pasta salad. And today's story is Happy 4th of July, Jenny Sweeney. Let's do that right now. Happy 4th of July, Jenny Sweeney by Leslie Kimmelman. Sun's up high, 4th of July. Lots of preparation for a day of celebration. Jenny Sweeney washes rags. There's little dog Rags right there. Mrs. Berger hangs up flags. Fireman Mike scrubs down his truck. Here's Fireman Mike. Quentin has beginner's luck. What did Quentin catch? A fish. He caught a fish in the pond. The Dalal family smiles proudly. We're Americans now, they proclaim loudly. Arjun dashes through the spray. That rascal Rags, he runs away. Oh, that naughty Rags. Lisa practices her twirling. Louis salutes the flag unfurling. Mr. Jonas finds his cap, and baby Lily takes a nap. Mayor Swanson writes her speech. Rags keeps running out of reach. And there's Rags, he's running away just outside the window. And Jenny's chasing him on her bike. Mr. Hill fires up the grill. All the family eats their fill. everyone around the picnic table eating their fill. Katie toots her piccolo. Jenny ties a big red bow. There she got Rags. She gave him another bath, and now she's made him all pretty with a big red bow. Emma finishes her float. Uncle Sam wants you to vote. Mayor Swanson tests the mic. Jenny's ready on her bike. She's even got red, white, and blue little sparkler things hanging from the sides. Jimmy Yang sips lemonade. Look, it's time for the parade. Let the celebration start. Everybody plays a part. There's everyone coming together for the parade. Gladly, proudly down the street, joyful music, marching feet, as everyone marches in the parade. Fireworks light up the dark as Jenny watches in the park. Beautiful fireworks. What a party! What a day! Happy birthday, USA! The end. I hope everyone enjoyed today's book. Happy 4th of July, Jenny McSweeney. And as promised, we have a couple of crafts to show you today. One of them is a craft that you can do with paper and paint. The other is actually an edible craft. And this is something that is probably more geared for grown-ups, but I'm sure that the kids would enjoy helping you make it and just kind of playing around with it. So let's set our book aside. And I'll show you first. The first craft that I would like to show you is using red, white, and blue paint and a sheet of black paper to make fireworks. Now there's two ways that you can make your fireworks. You can either use, I've got a plastic takeout fork. A regular fork would work too, just obviously wash it off when you're done. Or you could use a straw and use that as your paintbrush to make fireworks. Now I'll show you how the straw will work. I'm actually going to cut it into 3 sections, the one straw, so that way I can have red, white, and blue all as separate colors. So I've cut my straw into sections, and each section I'm going to cut from the bottom, and I'm going to cut a little bit up into the straw and separate. Like right now, it's cut into 2 sections. I'm going to continue cutting it, and I'm going to try and get 8 sections out of it. The longer that I make the sections, the bigger the firework will be. And of course, the more legs that I make, then that is the more spread out that the firework will be. And they can be all different lengths. You can do some of them short, some of them long, because when you look at fireworks up in the sky, they often look kind of different looking. So let me cut some of these into sections. And I will show you how this works. The fork's easy. Fork, don't need to prepare for it, just need a fork. But I'll show you both ways to do these crafts. Okay, so I've got a tray. I'm going to put a little bit of paint in. And of course, because this is for 4th of July, I chose to do red, white, and blue paint. A little bit of white. A little bit of red. And of course, a little bit of blue. So there I have my paints. So now I have my paints in a tray, and the first thing that I am going to do is use the straws for the first firework. And I'm going to kind of take my finger and put it in the straw and kind of try and separate those legs out. So you can see that those are kind of separated out, and do that for my other straws as well. And they don't have to be perfect. Fireworks are going to look a little bit different each time one goes up. It doesn't look exactly like the others, unless you have someone very good with quality control. So I've got another, and then my third one ready to go. So all the kids will need to do is take their black sheet of paper. If you don't have black paper, any dark color paper will do. So I've got black paper, and I'm going to take the straw, and I'm just going to dip it straight down, dipping it straight down into the colored paint. I'm going to blot a little bit of it off to the side. I want a good amount on there, but not too messy. So I've got paint all over my straw, and that can simply be set down in different places on the paper. So there's a couple of the straw pictures in blue. Let me grab another one, and this one I'll go ahead and do red. And it would probably be best to let them dry a little bit in between, but let's see how it works if we don't let them dry and just put a separate color on immediately. And it looks as though, as long as I keep my colors a little bit separate, they're not really bleeding and blending into each other. So I think it looks pretty cool so far. And for my last one, let me go ahead and do white paint, so that way we have our patriotic red, white, and blue for the 4th of July. And my last one is the white. And the thing for kids to be careful with this is to make sure that when they put the straw down on the piece of paper, that they simply put it straight down, that they don't rub it around and paint like a paintbrush, otherwise that's going to mess up the design. But here is red, white, and blue using a straw on one side. The other thing that kids can do to make fireworks is to use a fork. So for the fork, I'm going to dip the tines of the fork into some blue paint, and I'm simply going to make a pattern and kind of make that into circle. I'll show you once my circle is done. And again, for this, you'll want to make sure that the kids don't scrub the fork around. They simply should do it in an up and down fashion. And so this is a firework made with a fork, and I'd probably go a little bit bigger than that. I'm actually going to mix this with a little bit of the red paint. I'll probably end up with kind of a purple look, which is perfectly fine because fireworks can have multiple colors in one firework. Oh, I accidentally smeared a little bit of mine. Oh no. Probably should have stuck with the straws, would have been a little bit better for me. So let's see, if we keep adding on further and further out. Then that starts to look like a bigger and bigger firework. So the kids can do it any way that they like to. Personally, I think I like the straw one a little bit better, but that's me. If you don't have straws available, then by all means try using a fork, and you can make different decorations like that. So that is the paper craft for the 4th of July to make a firework. The other craft, which is an edible craft, I actually already made the craft, but I'm going to show you what I have that you could do. And for this craft, I thought I've seen all sorts of recipes online where people make pasta salad, like a red, white, and blue pasta salad. So when I made pasta, I actually had to use 3 different pots to make pasta. So I've used a rotini pasta. So it's kind of that curly looking pasta, because I think that's just kind of a fun shape. I've got the plain white pasta, and then in my other 2 pots, I cooked a separate amount of pasta, and I put red food dye into this pasta, and it was a pretty generous amount of red, and of course the blue pasta also a pretty generous amount of blue food coloring. to make that pasta blue. You'll want to, of course, do them all three separately to get the three separate colors. If you do it all together, your colors will bleed. And also, it's very important to make sure that you drain each color separately, and make sure that you rinse the pasta out to try and get out all of the red, try and get out all of the blue coloring. Otherwise, it will bleed onto each color will bleed onto the other colors. And of course, the white pasta, or that like creamy color that didn't have anything, that's gonna pick up all sorts of color too. I do see a little bit of my blue did get into the white, but for the most part, the white colored pasta is fine. So for this, I am going to show you what you can do. I'm just gonna kind of mix all of the pasta together. Like I said, I made this a little bit earlier today. I gave it plenty of time to cool, because the 4th of July, weather like this, it makes me think of this being a good time of year for a cold pasta salad. It's really hot outside. No one really wants to eat hot food unless it came off of the barbecue. So for this, if you're barbecuing for 4th of July, hot dogs, hamburgers, then this just makes a really pretty patriotic salad to go with it. And if you're worried about adding other things in, obviously you can put in anything that you want to have additions to this. If you were to put in red tomatoes, if you had like some white pieces of cheese you could put into it. I can't think of anything blue to put in other than blueberries, which would be a little odd for a pasta salad, but this is how it would look. And I've got two bowls here I'm going to separate out, so you can see if you add a little bit of salad dressing, you can see how it will look. Just to give you an idea, because I usually tend to use an Italian dressing, which is just like a vinegar and oil dressing. So if I were to add this to one of the pastas, and of course, like I said, if you add in other vegetables, like red peppers, red tomatoes, you can get other pops of red in there. If you put in celery, green onions, all sorts of things, it just makes it super colorful. No matter what you add into it, the red, white, and blue is really going to stand out. Now, not everybody likes an Italian dressing. You may also like something like a ranch dressing. So if you were to use ranch, you might worry about how that is going to look with the white cream on top of it, a white creamy dressing. So let's add a little bit in, and you can see how that's going to look. And we'll go ahead and use the same fork. And even though that's a white dressing and it does make a lot of the pasta, you know, it kind of bathes it in a white color, but it is still going to be very clear that this is indeed a red, white, and blue pasta salad. So these are the two pasta salads. This is with a little bit of ranch dressing. So as you can see, even with the white dressing, you still get that beautiful red, white, and blue. And of course, with the Italian dressing, makes it a little bit shiny with that olive oil on it. So this is just a fun thing that you can do for the 4th of July. You can use it really for any time of year. You can dye your pasta whatever color that you like. I just thought that I would show you this one. And of course, this is just kind of a fun thing for the kids to help out with. If you make the colorful pasta yourself, then the kids will probably get a kick out of helping you with stirring it and stirring everything up. I hope everybody has a safe and pleasant 4th of July. Bye-bye.